check it like configuring memory, remote connections we have seen. Then configuring MDB. Basically, we know that MDB maintains what? All the temporary objects. Okay, first point. Means what? Like, yeah, the process of like sorting, grouping, joining, reindexing. Okay, all these uses space in what? MDB. Yeah. So that's remember like any database query. Okay. Suppose in this server we have 10 databases are there. Any database query which needs space to process the output, right? So it uses space here in TempDB. Okay. Right. That's remember TempDB maintains what? All the temporary objects, like temporary tables, temporary stored procedures, the process of sorting, grouping, joining, reindexing. All these uses space here in TempDB. Okay, right. So this would be like as compared with any other system databases. Okay, usage of TempDB is more as compared with master model MSDB. TempDB usage is more. Okay, yeah. So why? Because TempDB maintains what all the temporary objects. That's why. So regularly TempDB size will grow very fastly. And we have discussed already. Whenever we restart the server, whenever we restart SQL Server, automatically TempDB is cleared. Right? Yes, automatically here TempDB is cleared. Yeah, till we are not restarting SQL Server, the objects, temporary objects are there in TempDB database. Okay, right. So that's remember like compulsory we have, you know, we have to follow the best practices on TempDB so that TempDB should not become full. Generally remember in real time on TempDB, on TempDB we have two types of issues are there on TempDB in real time. One is a TempDB space related issues are there. TempDB IO related issues are there, input output. Why? Because any database query can use space in what? TempDB. Correct, right? Yeah. That's remember like that is the reason like we have seen TempDB maintains what? All the temporary objects. That's why as a Microsoft is recommending like we need to follow some best practices on TempDB, and we have seen that from SQL Server 2016 onwards. SQL Server 2016 onwards, remember, these best practices are automatically implemented. These best practices are automatically implemented. No need to implement manually. We have seen whenever we are installing SQL Server 2016 or 17 or 18, yeah, what is happening? How many data files are added, right? Similar to number of CPUs in the server. See, in my machine, 8 logical CPUs are there. We have seen 8 data files are added so that TempDB should not become full. Okay, right. And second point, remember, like TempDB file should be placed in a separate hard disk here. Separate hard disk which has highest RPM. Highest RPM. RPM is nothing but what? Rotations per minute or revolutions per minute. Means what? Whose disk IO is very high. Disk IO is what? Very high. So that's what like while installing SQL Server itself, we have seen from 2016, automatically these best practices are followed. no need to implement manually. Okay, up to SQL Server 2014, we have to implement these best practices manually by adding the files. By adding the files. Right, right. Understood, right? What is TempDB and what are the best practices are there for TempDB? One question is there, how to clear files in TempDB manually? By default, we have seen whenever we restart SQL Server, TempDB is cleared automatically. But we know that we can't restart SQL Server like daily or every time, right? Production server it is, right? That is the reason, remember, we have to, yeah, we can shrink the TempDB actually to clear the TempDB, yeah, temporary objects. Whatever the unused objects are there in TempDB, those are also called as orphan objects. Orphan objects which are not used right now. Those objects are cleared by shrinking the database, TempDB database. Right. That is like by default, remember, whenever we start SQL Server, automatically here, by default here, whenever we restart SQL Server, already we have seen by default, yeah, like TempDB 8 data files are there here. Why? Because 8 logical CPUs are there in my machine, right? Yes. The same way, while installation, we can change the path also where the TempDB file should be maintained. Here, 8 data files, 1 log file. That's why if you follow these best practices, remember TempDB full and TempDB IO issue is not there from 2016 onwards. By default, these are implemented best practices. Right. And generally, we have seen that only whenever we restart SQL servers here, TempDB is cleared. But if we want to forcefully clear TempDB, means what? Clearing means what? Unused objects are cleared actually. So we can shrink the TempDBs here. Maximum free space in files after shrinking. You can mention here 10% free space should be there, something. 0 means it will never come to 0. Current allocation space 72. Available free space here 61. Almost all 85% free space is available. Right. So that is like what is TempDB, and practically I will show you. For example, here like one table is there here. No tables are there. Just I will create a table here. See in sales database. Check here bill number, bill date, client ID, customer ID, some things here. Okay, okay, bills. Just remember some table is ready here. Means this table is there in which database? Sales database. Now again remember, I will go to sales database here. Right now I am in sales database. I am creating one tables here. Cash, bills, from bills here. Bills is actual table. Okay, but see, whenever we say hash some things here, okay, then remember it is a temporary table. Temporary table, right? So check here, like, yeah, I'm creating one temporary table with all columns from these tables here. There is no where clause here. That's why if any rows are there here, all the rows are also copied here. Check here, this command I have executed in which database? Sales database. See here, if I refresh tables in sales, see here, there is no bills table here. Okay, but if I go to TempDB temporary tables, here it is created here hash bills. That's why remember we have not mentioned anywhere tempdb, right? That's why remember whenever we say hash table, it is a temporary table. Automatically our SQL engine is created in tempdb database. And see how long this table is maintained here. Suppose here till this session is there, session ID 57 is there here. So once this session is destroyed, once we close this session, once this session is disconnected, then remember automatically this table is destroyed. Okay? Automatically the table is destroyed. See here, close, refresh one time. See here, there is no tables here. Like this here, just we have to understand objects are created and destroyed automatically. In MDB river, objects are created, destroyed automatically. Okay, right. But sometimes remember some objects or developers will write the stored procedures, right? In the stored procedure, they will create some cursors, temporary tables. Actually, sometimes they may not write the cleanup activity. Suppose if they are not writing cleanup activity in the stored procedure, then those objects will be there in tempdb. Okay, till server restart, which causes tempdb growth problems here. Okay, that's why to overcome those problems, remember, to overcome those problems, now yeah, we have to shrink the tempdb regularly. Clear, right? What is tempdb? What is there in tempdb? Okay, so yeah, how the objects are created and destroyed automatically from in tempdb. Okay, so yeah, how we can shrink the tempdb if want to reduce the size, right? Yes, tempdb backup we can take or no need. Abhilash, Murthy, Mukesh, tempdb backups are required or no need? Okay, Varaprasad is saying no, Abhishek is saying no, Mukesh is saying no. Yes, why? Because see, these are temporary objects are there here, no need actually, right? Which are destroyed automatically, created, destroyed, created, destroyed. That's why remember, no need of tempdb backup is not required for us. Right. So that is like, yeah, TempDB. What is TempDB? What are the best practices are there? Then something more about TempDB. We'll see how to move TempDB. Some, if TempDB is growing very fastly, how to identify which queries or which transaction is causing the problem. Those things we'll see in that module, our next module. Okay, right. Introduction to buffer pool architecture already we have seen. Okay, in the memory configuration we have seen. First, every change made to the database is recorded in what? Buffer. Okay, right. So configuring max worker threads. Worker threads refers to remember CPU. CPU. Configuring memory we have seen here means like how much RAM we have to allocate to SQL Server. Configuring worker threads nothing but what? CPU. Means what? How many threads? How many threads my SQL Server can use? Means what? Let's say in general, remember like in the CPU, in general in our normal machines here, for less than or equal to 4 logical CPUs, less than or equal to 4 logical CPUs. We have by default remember 512 threads actually. 512 threads. This remember thread is nothing but one process space. Process space. Okay, means what? Generally we know, right? One thread is uploading files, one thread is downloading files, right? Yeah, one thread is playing music. Correct, right? Yes. So that is like multiple threads are there. Means what? To perform some activity or complete CPU is not going to handle one single activity. In the CPU, remember, we have threads are there. Nothing but just we can understand CPU. In CPU we have CPU is divided into parts where each part we are calling it as what? One thread. Just okay. Yeah. So that's like we can yeah. How many threads, like similar to memory, like in this server we have some threads are there, 512 threads are there. Out of 512 threads, how many threads my SQL server can use? We can configure here. Configuring what? Worker threads. Basically here, like if I go to server properties, see here, instance properties, processors. So in my machine, one physical CPU is there, 8 logical CPUs are there. Here, one physical CPU, 8 logical CPUs. Okay. Check here, maximum worker threads. Means what? This instance, test SQL 99. This instance can use how many threads? Okay, by default here, by default value is 0. 0 means there is no limit. No limit. For example, in this machine we have 576 threads are there. For example, out of 576 threads, this instance can use how many threads? Okay, no limits here. 0 means what? No limit. Means what? This instance can use total available threads. Available means it may be 400 threads, 450 threads here. Total available threads it can use. Okay, yeah, that is called, that is the worker thread 0 means there is no upper limit. Okay, what is Microsoft is recommending? So here in one server, in one machine, if single instance is there, let's say in this machine 576 threads are there. Okay, if single instance is there, we can leave this value 0 as it is. Microsoft is recommending leave 0 as it is. No need to set the number of threads, leave 0 as it is. Means what? There is no upper limit. Whenever SQL Server need, it can use 400 threads, 450 threads. Whenever there is no use, it can release threads back to OS. Okay, there is no maximum limits here, no upper limit. But in the machine, we have two instances are there. For example, in the machine we have two instances are there. For example, then what will happen here? So we can divide actually 200 threads for one instance, 250 threads for one instance, remaining threads for OS. Clear, right? The number best practice is that leave 0 as it is. No need to set the number of threads if single instance is there in one machine. Okay. Yes. Yeah. We can set here, see number of threads we can set here if want, for example, or by using sp configure, we can set the number of threads here. See sp configure. Yeah, number of threads we can set here. Max worker threads. Max worker threads here. By default, the property is not there. So that's why we have to enable this option. Just remember, if you are not finding the required property here in general, we have to see that whether this option is enabled or disabled. This option is disabled. That's why we can enable this here. Comma 1. Okay, reconfigure. Okay, that is here. Right. So now, sir, once we change to advanced option to 1, now we can see all the features here, 83 features. Here we can see, sir, max worker threads. 0 is there, right? By default value. We can set actually how many threads we want. First, sir, in the machine, we'll see how many threads are there. It's info I'm checking, sir. System information I'm checking. Okay. In my machines here, like 8 logical CPUs are there, 32 GB RAM is it. But 8 CPUs are there, that's why 576 threads are there here. Up to 4 CPUs in every laptop today we have 4 logical CPUs. Up to 4, we have 512 threads. But if more than 4 CPUs, the number of threads will increase. Okay, out of 576 here, let's say I want to configure 450 threads for my SQL server. Same thing, SP configure. Already we have seen max worker threads. One property is there. See, come on, 450 reconfigure. Once again, sir, it is a dynamic feature. From 2008 onwards, it is from 2012 onwards, it is dynamic. Means what? No need to restart the server. Previously, we need to restart the server. Okay, now no need to restart the server. Right, right. Check here. Yeah, set successfully. Change from 0 to 450. Already we know if want to see only this value, we can check here. Or right click properties, processors, 450. Like this here we can set, means what we are asking Windows that you allocate up to 450 threads. Clear, right? Not more than 450. Right. That is like how we are configuring the worker threads. Right. Yes. So okay. Understood, right? What is best practice? If single instance is there, don't configure, leave 0 as it is. If 2 instances are there, just to divide the threads across the instances, we can configure just to divide. Right. Next one, say like configuring DAC is it? DAC is nothing but a dedicated administrators connection. Dedicated administrators connection. What its meanings here? For example, here we have one server is there, one instance is there. We have configured 10 GB memory. 10 GB memory. Okay. Suppose let's say one question is there, if you don't configure, then it will cause any problem. No need, already we have some single instance is there, no need to configure. Yeah, even there are 2 instances are there, no need to configure, but just to divide actually one instance for one instance, I want to allocate more threads. For one instance, I want to allocate less number of threads, for example. In that case only we have to configure here. Yeah, otherwise no need. And sometimes one instance is a production instance is it, which is used for 12 hours. One instance is used for 8 hours, for example. So we can divide actually, depends on the load or traffic. Okay. This instance for this instance traffic is high. Another instance traffic is low, for example. So we can divide actually. Okay. Depends on the traffic. Yes. Check here like memory 10 GB memory we have configured and total 10 GB memory is full, for example. See, if the memory is full means if buffer cache is full, new connections will fail. See, new connections will not work, new connections will fail. Why? Because there is no sufficient memory, right? Why? Because in memory itself we have connection context is there, connection details are maintained in the memory itself, but already memory is full. Already memory is full. That's when new connections are not allowed. Okay, immediately why? Because whenever the new connections are not allowed, means application team will raise the, generally they will call to, uh, a user will call to the application team that I'm unable to connect to the server. Okay, but see like whenever we are calling that I'm unable to connect to the server, uh, immediately our application team will call to our DBA team. Application team is calling to DBA team. Means they are saying that users are unable to connect to the server. Okay, but remember like as a DBA, now we have to connect to the server. We need to verify what is the exact reason why connections are failing. What is the exact reason why connections are failing, or we have to check in the memory why memory is full, which queries are consuming more memory, which queries are consuming more memory. I want to find. It's as a DBA we have to start investigating actually what is the exact reason why connections are failing, means why memory is full, which queries are taking more memory, we have to identify as a DBA. But remember, like whenever we are trying to identify what is the exact reason, means in this scenario, if the memory is full, in this case, remember as a DBA, we have to identify which sessions are causing this problem, which queries are causing this problem. Memory full problem. But see, as a DBA, whenever I am trying to connect, for me also it is throwing same error, connection timeout error, okay, insufficient memory. For me also it is throwing what same error, connection timeout or insufficient memory. Then how we can identify, means what, as a DB also we are unable to connect to the server, same error we are getting similar to normal users. Okay, right. Now remember, now how to handle this scenario? Either we have to restart the server, okay, either we have to restart the server. So, but if I restart the server, all are disconnected, right? All the sessions are disconnected. We can't see which sessions are causing problem. This is the reasons here, like where this DAC connection is used. Like here, whenever we configure this DAC connection after installing SQL Server, once we configure this DAC connection, SQL Server will reserve memory for one admin connection here. The memory, remember, it will reserve memory for one admin connection. Means what? Even the memory is full. Other users are getting the problem like memory full problem. Other users. Even the memory is full. As a DBA, we can connect through this memory. We can start diagnosing the problem. We can identify which queries are causing this memory problems. Okay. Yes. That is like what is the what is the purpose of what DAC? Means what? After installing SQL Server, we have to enable this feature one time. We have to enable this feature one time. Okay, maybe in future we are using or not, but as a best practice we have to enable this one time. If server is not responding to normal connections due to memory full problem, anyone DBA in our team, 10 DBAs are there, anyone can connect through this memory. We can start diagnosing the problem. Okay. Right, what is the purpose of DAC? Check here how to enable this feature, DAC feature, we'll see. Check here after installing SQL Server, we can enable DAC features here. We have one option is it remote admin connections. By default disables here, 0 it is showing. Comma 1 reconfigure. See here. Okay, feature is changed from 0 to 1. Now remember, at any time if server is not responding, then we can connect through a DAC memory. We can start troubleshooting the problem. Let's see what is the purpose of your DAC connection. Okay, now here what I will do. Suppose tomorrow server is not responding due to memory full problem, then how we are connecting here through this DAC connection. Okay, new database engine query. See here, new database engine query. Everything is same at the beginning here. The place of server name. The place of server names here. Okay. At the beginning, I am saying admin colon here. Right? Admin colon server name. Same thing. Means what? Indirectly, I am asking, I want to connect through admin memory. Okay, which is reserved for what? One admin connection. Connected successfully. Sir, one more admin is there, he can't connect. One more session is not allowed. Only one session is allowed. Now after connecting, we can check here top 10 or top 5 queries. Memory, we can check here. Select this top 5 star from sys.sys processes. Order by mem usage, DESC. Memory usage, DESC, descending orders here. Highest memory, lowest. Top 5 session I am checking. Here, these sessions are consuming what? More memory. For example, we can submit these sessions to our application team. Okay, so if the application team say that wait, okay, till they confirm, we can wait, or if the application team say that kill the session, kill the sessions, we can kill the sessions here where the memory is released immediately so that other users can continue their work. Let's remember it is not regularly used feature. Just after installing SQL Server, we have to enable this feature. So in future, maybe we are using or we are not using. Okay, right. That is like what is the purpose of your DAG connection? What is DAG and what is the purpose of DAG connection? Okay, why we have to enable DAG? Right, right. So these are the main concepts are there as part of this module. Configuring SQL Server, second module. Generally, we have seen service account. We have discussed service account is a separate account used by SQL Engine, through which SQL Engine will talk with OS and other servers. Service account. How to check the service account? We have seen. Yeah, these are see, this is our service account. Means by using this account, SQL Engine will talk with OS and other servers here by using this account, service account. Okay, yes. So if want to change this service account, remember we can change also from services.msc. Check it, services.msc. Okay, SQL Server. Let's say our instance name is what? Test SQL 99. Check here, test SQL 99. Double click on this, log on. Same things here, service account. Just now we have seen. If want, we can change here, which is not regular process here. Browse advanced means first we have to create a OS level account. We have to create. Then here we can change here. See SQL 1. We have to mention its password. This account password we have to mention. Right, like this here how we can change the service account. Not regular job, but after changing this service account, remember server restart is required, means instance restart is required. Right click restart. Means what? So now our SQL engine will talk with OS by using this account. Suppose sometimes remember whenever we start SQL Server. So let's say now server is down. For example, I'm trying to start SQL Server. It is not started successfully. It is not started successfully. It is throwing error. It is throwing error. Logon failure. What is the error message? Logon failure. Okay, so whenever we see the error message logon failure, immediately we have to understand it is the problem with service account. Problem with service accounts here. Clear, right? Is the problem with service accounts here. Okay, then we have to check here. We have to ask our Windows team check the service account. Okay, so whether it is yeah, any maybe account may be locked or password may be expired. Okay, so we have to or we have to ask our Windows team to reset the password. Okay, yes, that is like yeah, a problem is there here with service account. Right. Right. So that is like, yeah. So what is the purpose of service account? How we can change the service account? What is the common error with service account? Okay. Right. Right. So, okay, these are the main concepts are there as part of module 2. We'll go with the next modules here, working with databases, another very, very important module. Okay, right, okay. One question is that service account created default. Yeah, yeah, correct. By default, it is created. We have seen whenever we install SQL Server, by default, it is created this one, NT service slash MS SQL dollar. And by default, it is created. Okay, no need to create separately. Right, right. So, okay, yeah, we can change. We have seen if one, but first we have to create an account in Windows, then we can change. Right. Let's say we'll go to next modules here, module 3, working with databases. Yes. Check here, we'll go to another very, very important module, working with databases. Right. So majorly already we know the purpose of using SQL Server is what? To work with databases. Right. Yes. So check here like in this module we'll see different types of databases we'll see. Okay, what is system database? What are user-defined databases? Internally, how the data is maintained. Database architecture we'll see in this module. Okay, how the data is maintained, how the data is there in data file, log file. So yeah, those things we'll see here in detail. And what are the common issues are there tomorrow if log file damage, how to handle scenario? If data file is damaged, how to handle scenario? Those things we'll see here. Okay, right, right. Check here. We'll work with different databases, system defined, user defined. How we can move the databases, we'll see. Database architecture, we'll see. Okay, internally how the data is maintained, and some new features. We'll see some scenarios. Okay, right, right. In general, remember, like in SQL Server, every production server, remember, we have two types of databases. Okay, in production server, we have two types of databases. One is your system-defined databases and user-defined databases, right? And we know already, by default, remember, system databases are created automatically once we install SQL Server, right? By default, 5 system databases are created automatically. By default, 5 system databases are created automatically once we install SQL Server. Okay, right, right. So that's like, yeah, 5 system databases are created automatically. So yeah, which consist of what? Metadata, which consist of metadata. System databases maintains what? Database metadata. Okay, right, right. So that's remember like these databases are compulsory databases we have seen. System databases are what? Compulsory databases we have discussed, which maintains instance metadata, right? So we have seen like every database has its own requirements actually. We'll see here one by one database. We'll see. Check here. Generally, we have totally three types, but these sample databases are there here. Sample databases we are not using in production box. We can't maintain sample databases here in production server. Okay, only system databases and user databases only we are maintaining in production servers here. System defined and user defined only we are maintaining. But remember, for learning purpose or testing purpose, we can install these sample databases, any one database for practice purpose in our laptop. Generally, here AdventureWorks database is there, which is a sample database, which has some sample tables, sample stored procedures, everything. We can use this here for learning purpose or testing purpose. Clear, right? Purpose of sample databases. Okay, yes. So check here how to create these sample databases. Already we know applications or users are connected to which database? User defined databases, right? End users. Like sales database, HR database, inventory database, any database. But as a DBA, we have to work with both the databases. Why? Because in system databases, metadata is there, right? Right? To which user what permissions we have granted, okay, on which database what feature is there. That complete metadata is there in what system databases, right? That's why as a DBA we have to monitor metadata, we have to work with metadata. That's why yeah, system databases are there, sir, through on which we are working, sir. We have metadata, so with metadata we are working with system databases. Okay, right. So check here. First we'll see about system databases, then we'll see about yeah, we'll work with the user databases. But remember, if want to if want to download, if want to yeah, restore this AdventureWorks database in your instance for practice purpose, just remember these databases we are not maintaining in production server. How we can create here AdventureWorks database for practice purpose? Check here. In this servers here, there is no database AdventureWorks. Okay, let's say I will create AdventureWorks database here. Okay, I will download this database here from we can type here AdventureWorks database here. Okay, we can go to GitHub here, github.com, AdventureWorks database. Okay, here install from backup. I'm selecting, click on this. Okay, okay. Sir, which version you want, it is asking. Right now I am working with 2019 version. For example, I will download here 2019. Click on this. I immediately started downloading. Once this backup file is downloaded successfully, then remember we can restore. Restoring means nothing but creating the database. Creating the database here, restore. Okay. Yes. Okay, downloaded successfully. Go to this folder. By default, now it is there in backups folder. Cut this file, paste in some other folder, D backups, anywhere, see, just any folder. It's not compulsory that backups. Okay, from here, see, I will restore the database. Here, restoring means nothing but creating the database. Check here, D backups, right? Go to our instance, right click on databases, restore database. See here, okay. Check here from device, browse, add, where is backup file? It is saying D backups, select the file. Okay, okay. Go to files, relocate. We'll see this in backup restore in detail. Okay, just here. Check here, database was restored successfully. Check here, database is created successfully. Adventure works database here. Okay, now remember, just remember in this database some sample tables are there. See here, no need to create manually tables, no need to fill the data. For practice purpose, some sample tables are there. We can practice here by using these tables actually. Just okay. Basically, it is a sample database for practice purpose. Already we have seen we can't maintain this AdventureWorks database in production server. We can use this for testing purpose or learning purpose only. Okay, that is how we can create the AdventureWorks database. Okay, okay, yeah. Just we'll see 2 points. We'll see. We'll continue tomorrow. First one, we'll see system databases. System databases. These are mandatory databases or compulsory databases. Already we know automatically whenever we install SQL Server, automatically 5 system databases are created. 5 system databases are created automatically, which maintains what? Instance metadata. Okay, okay. So that's it. Like, yeah, master is there. Master we know already, which maintains total server level metadata is there. Model consists of, here model is a template for new databases. We have seen, means what? Whenever we create a new database, the database is created by taking settings of model database. Okay, means what? Currently model database size is 800 MB. Whenever a new database is created, it is created with the same size 800 MB. Just it is a template for new databases. Here we are not working as a DBA regularly. But MSDB database is an important database. Microsoft scheduling database. Microsoft scheduling database is it. Means in this database we have seen a total automation information is there. MSDB maintains what? Total automation information. Means what? Like generally we'll create here, see jobs, alerts, maintenance plans. All these are maintained here in MSDB database. Another important database. We have seen a SQL Server agent is it. SQL Server agent uses here MSDB database to implement automation. Already we know MDB database maintains what? All the temporary objects we have seen. Right, whenever we restart SQL Server, we know that MDB is cleared automatically. Right. Next year resource database is that, which is hidden database. Basically it was introduced in 2005 version. So it is for patching purpose. Actually remember all these database files are there. All these database files are there in data folder of respective instance, but these database files are there in bin folders here, binaries folder. Okay, yes. Just remember, master is our main database, which is startup database of SQL Server. Means what? Whenever we start SQL Server will go to master. From here, it will read the parameters start. Model is a template for new databases which we are not working regularly. MSDB database, another important database which maintains what? Automation information. Means whenever we schedule jobs, okay, alerts, log shipping, all these details are stored in MSDB database. TempDB database, we have seen another important database which maintains what? All the temporary objects. Check it, these databases consist of metadata. Once we configure replication, automatically here one more database is created with the name distribution. Check it, except the replication, total automation information is there in MSDB. For replication, Microsoft is using separate database distribution. Check here, we can't detach system databases. We can't take system database offline. Generally, remember to move the files of a database. Right now, our database files are there in D drive, for example, D drive. So maybe due to disk space related issue, I want to move these files into E drive, different location. We have to understand. If want to move the files into different location, then remember we can use these options here: detach, attach, offline, online. We'll see this practically, okay, after the next slide. These are some basic information is there about system databases. We have some more 3-4 points, still 2-3 points are there about system databases. We'll discuss those points. Right.